Hey guys, you might be wondering why a new channel. So let me answer this question first before going on a roller coaster ride to an absolutely undiscovered world. So in this channel, I'll be dealing with facts in a more promising way. Biology will open up to you in new folds. I will be delivering better content and more filtered content with informative diagrams. So we will see the beauty of the subject and explore its most interesting principles along with getting good grades in examinations obviously. So today we'll be dealing with the chapter cell structure and function. I will upload 3 videos on this chapter. So this is the first video of them. So we will be covering up the introduction, definition of cell, the cell theory and all, then shapes of cell, and then the sizes of cell, different sizes in which we found different cells. Okay, so let us start our discussion. So okay, we have the cell now. To define cell, we can say that it is the smallest structure which ensures independent living. What does this statement mean? It means that we do not have any other structure smaller than cell which we can call as living, right? So cell would be the smallest structure which can be called as living. So we say that it is the smallest structure which ensures independent living, right? Now we have a very good statement right here. It is, we say that cell is the structural and functional unit of life. So what's this? Okay. To call cell the structural unit of life, we mean that every living organism is composed of cells. Okay, for example, we have trillions of cells within ourselves, right? On the other hand, a bacteria is actually a single cell. So we call cell a structural unit of life. And why functional unit? Because every function our body performs is actually performed by various cells of our body. Whatever functions our cell perform, it combines, it sums up actually to appear as the functions of our body, right? So now we have something known as cell theory. This actually defines what is a cell and which is not, right? So we had two scientists, Sheldon and Swan. They gave this statement right here: all organisms are composed of cell or their products, right? Oh, I'm sorry, this should be are here or their products, right? So as I told you, all organisms are composed of cells. We are clear with that. Now what their product means. So let me tell you, like, we have a group of cells here, many cells. I won't draw many right here, but we have a group of cells right here. Okay, so the cells group up to form tissues, right? Tissues group up to form organs, organs group up to form organ system, and then finally organ system group up to form an organism. For example, in humans we have the respiratory system, we have the digestive system, we have the excretory system, we have the reproductive system. So likewise we have various organ system composed of various organs. These organs are composed of various tissues, and ultimately the tissues are composed of various type of cells. So their products, like here means organs and organ system and tissues, right? Okay, then we have another scientist, Rodolphe Virchow. He essentially gave this statement right here: cell arise from pre-existing cell. He said in statement actually, omnis cellula e cellule. But we have to focus on this thing only. This it's translation of that statement. It says cell arise from pre-existing cells. It means cell only arise from existing cells. Like we have a cell here, this was a cell. It divides into two cells, right? So we will be dealing with cell division in our future videos. So that what this statement means, right? And let me tell you that virus, I hope you know what a virus is. Sometimes it looks like this thing. I'm not good at drawing, let me tell you. Okay, this is a virus. We call it the exception of cell theory. Why? Well, we have many reasons for that. Okay, one is that it is living only when it enters a host. Means when it enters any other living organism, it acts as a living organism. Otherwise, it is non-living, right? And we have many other reasons other than this. We'll be dealing them in some future videos. So now we come to discovery of cell. Okay, we had a scientist named Robert Hooke. He, through his self-invented microscope, saw structures right here. Saw structures like these. You can see compartment-like structures in this image, like very small, minute compartment-like structures. Okay, so he observed these compartment-like structures and hence named them what? Cell. Cell essentially means compartments, right? And the credit of discovering the first living cell goes to Anton von Leeuwenhoek. Okay, he saw some, some sort of organisms in pond water actually. These were living. On the other hand, Robert Hooke saw cork cells, right? And these are actually dead cells. So that's why we give the credit of discovering living cell to Leeuwenhoek, right? So moving ahead, now we have types of organism on the basis of number of cells. So what does I want to say? Here it is. Types of organism on the basis of number of cells. So what is this? We have two types of organism. One is unicellular and other is multicellular. So as the name suggests, you can see uni means one while multi means many, right? So organisms composed of single one cell, we call them unicellular. On the other hand, organisms composed of a group of cells, many cells, we call them what? Multicellular. Now here single performs all the metabolic activities. What are metabolic activities? Activities which are vital for life, like respiration, digestion, excretion, reproduction, etc. We call them metabolic activities, right? So here a single cell will perform all the activities which are necessary for survival. Okay, and here group of cells form tissues and organs as I discussed previously, which together coordinate to perform metabolic activities, right? For example, we have stomach, the intestine, and mouth and tongue in our digestive system. So they would fu function together to assist digestion. Okay, so they coordinate with each other to perform metabolic activities. We have examples as amoeba and bacteria here, and human and cockroach as an example of multicellular. We have thousands of example here and thousands of example here, so that doesn't matter much. Okay, moving ahead, we come to the shape of cells. Okay, we have shape of cells differ according to the function they perform. So what does this statement mean? Okay, so let me draw something here. This is a neuron. Neuron is actually nervous tissue, you can say. This is a single cell and it is a part of our nervous tissue, right? So this is a neuron. It is a very much branched and long structure. So why so? Actually, it has to carry impulses or the messages from brain to different organs, right? So that's why it is branched and long. So that makes clear that the functions of cell will decide their shape, right? So we have the shell can varies in shape like disc like polygonal, columnar, cuboidal, or even irregular. Okay, this is something interesting. Irregular, what does I mean by this? So we have an organism named amoeba here. Okay, let me draw You can see I can draw anything to show what is amoeba. Likewise, here I am drawing anything to show amoeba, right? Because it is irregular. We do not have any definite shape for this organism, so I can draw anything, okay? Now we come to the size of cell. We say that generally cells are microscopic and cannot be seen with naked eye. Means we have to use a microscope to view cells. But right here we have written that largest isolated cell is ostrich egg. So we have also written a word generally here, which is the most of the cell cannot be seen with naked eye. They do require a microscope, but not all of them, right? An ostrich egg, you must have an idea how large it is. I don't actually know the actual size of this. I concentrate more on concepts rather than facts, right? So I won't be able to tell you the exact dimensions of this thing, but it is quite large. We know that, right? So we have now the smallest cell. We have a PPLO, Pleuropneumonia-like organism. It's 0.3 micrometers. Let me tell you, 1 micrometer is equal to 10 to the power minus 6 meters, right? So you can have an idea how small is this thing right here. Longest cell is the nerve cell, what we discussed right here. Okay, so I got some images and diagrams for you guys so you can understand the shape and sizes of cell in a better way. So here we are with different shapes and sizes of cell, right? Shapes and sizes of cell. This is the RBC, red blood cells, okay, of the human body. This is discoidal shaped. We call this shape as discoid. Okay. This is the muscle cell. We call this spindle shaped. This is this aperture. We called it stomata, which is occurs in plant cells. And here, right, are kidney shaped cells. We call them guard cells. This is nerve cell. The neurons, what we discussed. You see, these are very much branched, and one of these would be like this, very long. Okay. These two are unicellular organism, complete organism, whole organisms composed of a single cell. Okay, so that would make you clear about different shape of cells. Coming to sizes, we have this thing right here, this range, 10 micrometer to 100 micrometer. Most animals and plant cells lie in this range, so you guys not need to learn this information. It's just for making clear how small cells are. Okay, we have different kinds of techniques which we can use to see things as small as these, right? We can see up to here without any aid. Then we need light microscope to see up to here, and then we have electron microscope to explore ultra super, I mean very small structures, right? And yeah, it is one of the important thing right here is viruses. Okay, so we have smallest bacteria here and we have viruses here. So why don't we call virus as the smallest cell? We just learned that it is PPLO, right? We call PPLO the smallest cell. But why don't we call virus as the smallest cell? Okay, so as I told you, viruses are the exception of cell theory. So we actually do not consider them as cells, so it won't make up in the list of smallest cells, right? Okay guys, so I hope you liked the new method of learning science. Please subscribe to my channel for further interesting videos. I promise you we will learn science in a different way. Thank you guys. See ya.